Could Ron DeSantis re-enter the race now that Trump's been convicted on all counts? And what does that mean for the election in 2024? Uncle Ron's been passing all kinds of great laws down here in the great state of Florida, and he could be your next president in 2024. I think the Trump trial was a witch hunt, and I think the Democratic Party is waking up and they're losing a ton of voters because of it and because of Biden's policies over the last 4 years.
For unvaccinated, we are looking at a winter of severe illness and death.
Really? My name's Grant Warrington, and I'm a real estate investor that just moved to Florida. I bring you all the important videos you need to watch and a few you don't. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and let's roll this clip.
And I think it's just a disgrace, and we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end, and we'll win.
Well, strong words from former President Donald Trump just minutes after a jury found him guilty on all 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. That verdict coming down within the last hour. And this evening, reaction from Florida political leaders.
Trump is now the first former president in U.S. history to be convicted of a crime. Taking a live look right now at Manhattan, you can see there the president's motorcade moving throughout the highway as it's en route to, we're not sure right now where, but we're working to figure that out.
He's leaving New York. The dude just got convicted on 34 felony counts. Do you blame him? Actually, there's a rumor floating around in Florida that he's secretly going to meet with Ron DeSantis. And they're going to talk about what the next steps are for the 2024 election. I live in Florida, and I actually created that rumor. No matter what side of the fence you're on, this is a very scary time because whether you're Democrat or Republican, you don't want to see political opponents being prosecuted. So if this does happen in the future, I hope we never see anything like this again. I hope we get through this. Whatever your views are, if in the future it happens again, even if I don't like that certain political party, I'm gonna stand up for them and say, this is bullshit and we can't have stuff like this happening. Again, whatever your views are, I think it's bullshit that it went on and this is happening. But let me know if you don't agree. Let me know in the comments below. But again, this is something you really gotta be concerned about going forward. Are we allowed to attack political opponents now going forward? I don't know.
Now, the jury of 12 found that Trump violated the law by falsifying business records to cover up a $130,000 payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election.
And it took him 7 years to put this case together against former President Trump. And it just so happened to fall right before the presidential election.
Prosecutors for the Manhattan District Attorney said the conspiracy spanned his 2016 campaign and continued well into his first year in the White House. Trump denied having sex with Daniels and pleaded not guilty. 10 Tampa Bay's Aaron Parsegian joins us now with reaction from Florida lawmakers and party leaders.
Yeah, reaction to this historic verdict is pouring in across the political spectrum in Florida. We'll start with Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, who earlier this year was battling former President Trump for the Republican nomination. In a post on X, he calls it political persecution, in part saying today's verdict represents the culmination of a legal process that has been bent to the political will of the actors involved.
Uncle Ronnie D knows that there's more going on behind the curtain than people are letting on. I love his response here, and he's been busy in Florida passing some kick-ass laws, and I'm going to go over here in a minute.
Senator Marco Rubio, who many have said could be a potential VP pick for the former president, echoing a similar sentiment, calling the verdict a complete travesty and a mockery of the justice system. And on the other side of things, the Biden-Harris campaign saying the verdict in New York shows that no one is above the law, adding convicted or not, he will still be the Republican nominee for president and calling him a threat to democracy. Now, former President Trump is also talking about November and the race for the White House. Here he is speaking outside the courthouse minutes after he was convicted tonight.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. But the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
Trump's sentencing is scheduled for July 11th, 4 days before the Republican National Convention, where he will officially be nominated as the Republican presidential candidate. In studio, Aaron Parsegian, 10 Tampa Bay.
So what if Trump did decide not to run? Would you be voting for Uncle Ron if he jumped back into the election? I know I would. And here are some of the laws he's passed that are just gonna blow your mind because they're common sense laws. And that's what I love about living in Florida. People do things that just make sense. And I love it how Democrats and Republicans can come together to pass laws like this. I'm all about accountability, and that's what I love to see in Florida. If you break the law, they're gonna hold you accountable. Not like in these other states like New York and California, where if you break the law, they look at you as the victim and they wanna try to pass laws to protect you, the person breaking the law. Does not make sense. So one of the things Ron did is he got tougher on people stealing Amazon packages off porches. Now this was great because in Michigan, we own apartment buildings, and one of the biggest problems is people walking by and stealing packages. It happens all over. I'm sure your package has been stolen too. It just sounds weird. I'm sure your package has been stolen too, but he's passing laws to make it tougher. So if you do this, you're gonna face harsher penalties. I love this one. Number 2, he put a ban on selling lab-grown meat in Florida.
Take your fake lab-grown meat elsewhere. We're not doing that in the state of Florida.
Now, it's not here yet, but whether you know it or not, people are trying to grow meat in a lab, and they want you to eat it.
No, God, please, no, no!
And Uncle Ron's saying, no, not in Florida. We're gonna eat meat the way we always have from a cow, and we're not gonna be forced to eat this lab-grown meat because at some point in the future, people are talking about switching over to only lab-grown meat to help save the climate or environment or something like that. Crazy. Number 3, Florida's one of the first states to get tough on squatters by passing an anti-squatting bill. Now, if you own a home, this should be a no-brainer, but you still have governors like in Arizona that are vetoing squatting bills for some reason. I have no idea. But in Florida, here's what you do. If there's a squatter in your home, you go down to the sheriff's department, you fill out a piece of paper, sheriff goes with you to the home, sheriff kicks out squatter. That's it. Pretty simple, right? Makes a lot of sense. Whether you hate DeSantis or not, I think you're gonna go, wow, that makes a lot of sense. I really like that. Let me tell you what's going on in New York. I just did a video about this. A homeowner tried changing the locks and getting rid of a squatter in her home, and luckily she had the news team with her, and the cops came and arrested her.
You shouldn't be trying to steal my house. Yes, you are.
So Adele, you're getting arrested right now?
I'm being arrested.
For what?
For being in my own home.
Now, thank goodness it's made national news, and New York City said, okay, we need to stop this because there's a huge difference between tenant rights and squatters' rights. Squatters have no rights, tenants do. Tenants need those rights, but squatters, get them out of there, man. They should have no rights at all. So New York said that makes sense. We're gonna start passing laws, anti-squatting laws. However, the next thing they did was say, we're also going to relocate the squatter. We're gonna take them out of your home where they're breaking the law, and we're gonna find a place for them to live. So basically, we're gonna find a next victim for them. Isn't that a great idea? And to do this, here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna create more government and hire people to implement this program. And guess who they're gonna focus on? They're gonna focus on the homeowner. And they are going to fine and possibly throw people in jail if they've left their home sit vacant for too long. So if you're in New York City and you want a vacation down to Florida for 6 months a year, that might be a big problem, and you could possibly get fined for that. Why are they going after the homeowner? Because that's who has the money. And guess what? The homeowner is also gonna pay for the program that's gonna relocate your squatter. So there you go, New York City. It's a great idea. Number 4, the state of Florida is offering bonuses to police officers who leave their crazy states and come down to Florida to be police officers. I think this is a great idea, and Florida loves its police officers. So if you're in one of those other crazy states, come down here, you can get a bonus, and people will actually appreciate you and the work you do. Number 5, he just passed a bill to protect law enforcement officers and first responders from getting harassed in the line of duty. Let's pull up that article. Today, Governor Ron DeSantis signed legislation to increase penalties for those who harass officers in the course of their duty and legislation to prohibit localities from using political entities like civilian oversight boards to drive an anti-police agenda. One of the worst things that happened in the last few years was defund the police, and Florida never got involved with that. And you can see that's why police officers, good police officers, are coming here to work. I'm proud to support the men and women of law enforcement throughout the state, said Governor Ron DeSantis. Today's legislation will ensure law enforcement can do their jobs without the threat of harassment. While blue states vilify and defund the police, Florida will continue to be the friendliest state in the nation towards our law enforcement community. The police are so important, and having a good police force and an educated and trained police force is very important. They protect your property, your businesses, and the overall safety in the community. In Florida, under Governor DeSantis, first responders and police officers are supported and respected, said Florida Department of Law Enforcement Commissioner Mark Glass. Today's legislation protects the rights of law enforcement officers and ensures they can remain safe on the job. I think you'll agree with me, these 5 laws are no-brainers and they should be passed. And that's why I think Ron DeSantis is gonna be our next president in 2024. What do you think? You think Trump's still in the race? Is it gonna be Trump and Biden? Let me know in the comments below. Or are you pulling for Uncle Ronnie D in 2028? Either way, I think him becoming president is gonna happen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more common sense Florida content, and make sure you check out this video because I know you're gonna love it. So I'll see you in this video.